So what is the purpose of going public? All these women are coming out saying, "Me too, time's up." What is the purpose of that? What do they want?
One of the things that we are working on behalf of survivors of sexual violence and domestic violence is reform within the justice system and the law enforcement communities. So we want to build that bridge so that survivors, God forbid this happens to somebody, and they're afraid to call the police because they're going to be re-victimized in the system. They won't be believed, their communities will shun them, maybe they would even lose their job or lose their children, or worse, have somebody re-attack them out of retribution. So a lot of women have stayed silent because of all of these conditional pressures. And so what we want and what we're working actively toward on a daily basis is to not just reform the system as a whole and make it more compassionate and transparent and effective, but also change the way culturally that American society looks at sexual violence, the over-sexualization of women, especially in mainstream media, marketing, that trickles down into faith, family values, community responsibility, social awareness.
And so when you say reform, you mean new laws, more laws?
New laws, for sure, certain emergency actions that can be taken. We're looking at ways to create more accountability, more transparency, and more urgency when survivors come forward and they need help. The system is a very slow mechanism.
Did you attend the Golden Globe Award this year?
I did not. I watched it, but I did not.
What did you think about that? The women dressed in black, and then Oprah got up and carried on like a black preacher. Were you what in the world is going on, as I was about it?
I looked at the Golden Globes as an opportunity, partly as an opportunity to see, okay, let's see real change happen now. And also as a wait and see of, okay, they've spoken up, they've done this, they've had this all-black solidarity dress code. Great. I'm wearing all black except my jacket, but that's because I'm from New York and that's what we do, is we wear all black in Manhattan.
Did you see the hypocrisy of Hollywood that night? And that, as you said earlier, they sexualize men and women.
Right.
They create these problems, and then when these folks go out of control concerning sex, Hollywood come back and pretend to be the savior of the problem when they're really the primary cause of the problem. So did you see the hypocrisy in them that night?
I saw a fair bit of rear end covering.
Yeah.
Nice way of putting it. Looking over the shoulder in one sense. Yes, that I think to anybody that works within the industry, it's fairly obvious. How we choose to utilize those observations is really what's important, right? People are always going to be out there walking the red carpet, being fancy, singing and preaching the words, but what are the actions to back it up?
Yeah.
And when you see real actions being backed up on a daily basis, on a consistent basis, that's where the real work and the progress is going to be made.
What I thought was interesting too is that most of those women, they kissed up at Harvey Weinstein, Oprah hugging him. We've seen pictures of that.
Oh, yes.
Harvey Weinstein is such a beautiful person. I saw Oprah, for example, with a white girl meeting with Harvey, and she was just really, like she was turning over a piece of meat to Harvey, and Harvey was pinching her on the shoulders. And now that this information comes out, all those women are acting like they knew nothing about it. They have their careers going now. They use Harvey for their own personal gain. And now they're turning on the person that they used. And it's been said that they knew what was going on all these years. As a woman, what do you think about women like that?
That is a very, I will tell you, from certain angles of my own personal experience, not with Mr. Weinstein, thank goodness, but in other circles within the entertainment industry, it has always been widely accepted that sex sells.
Right.
It has been a difficult and quite divisive situation for women, because on one hand, you're absolutely right. They're at least from everything I've read, because I don't have firsthand knowledge, but from people I've spoken to and things I've read, there was a fair amount of knowledge within this. And somebody in the New Yorker wrote that Weinstein existed on a network of cooperation. He needed their silence to allow this to continue. So people turned a blind eye, or they thought, ooh, my job is in jeopardy, I got to feed my kids, I don't want to lose my job.
Or they just had a personal gain for themselves, so they knew and didn't care as long as they got what they wanted.